In your program is an excellent biography of Sue. It is very impressive. Her bio describes the numerous Tri-City area organizations, particularly those that help young people and families that Sue has supported for many years. If you haven't had a chance to read it, please do so following the presentation. What her bio doesn't describe is that Sue is not showy, nor does she sport for personal gain and recognition. And she only supports the programs that her need is measurable and accountable. Scouting fits perfectly. Many young people who are now adults owe their success to Sue Frost and her late husband, Dan. Without further ado, please join me in recognizing the 2023 North Star recipient, Sue Frost.
Thank you very much. I will be brief, as we were instructed earlier. I think it's a good practice. I want to share with you a story, just a short story, and it informs me, I hope it informs you, the kinds of things that have motivated me to help others. And it's one story in particular that occurred years ago. Well, not so many, I was 16. And it was a time in my life where my parents had a few issues and some troubles and a business problem my dad had, and he needed to go find another job or something to employ him. And so he left, and he called our family from Oregon and said, I found it. And so come moved to Oregon. And it was just me and my mom, and my brother was older and was staying in Pasco. We lived in Pasco since 50. It was home. But we went, and it turned out that my parents were good people. This is not any kind of aspersion on them. But it turned out that they still had some adjusting to do, and it was sort of pointed out to me that maybe they could have an easier time if I wasn't there. And so I said, okay, and I left, and I came back to Pasco. I went back to school. I was pleased to be there. I moved in with a friend of mine's parents for a very short time, and which they had agreed to and invited me to do, and then I got a job across the street for a woman who was divorced and needed somebody to get her kids off to school in the morning and be there and start dinner in the afternoons, and that worked fine. And then she moved to Oregon. And so I found a very small house close to the high school and rented it, and it was $40 a month. And I didn't have $40 a month, so I got a job at Penny's, and $1.35 an hour. It took a fair amount of working. So I found myself missing school. And when they would invite me to work so that I could make enough money to pay my rent and live, I would work. And the next day the drill was this. You went to the office, and standing behind the counter at the office was a stern, serious, frightening fellow by the name of Colonel Robert Gregson. He was, he had a way about him, even and I'll just kind of show you what it is. The kids lined up, and most of them had notes from parents, and they would file in front of him, and he'd look at that, and he'd say, approved, get to class. Now and then a miscreant of some sort would come through and just didn't have a fake kind of a note and he'd say, not approved, detention, no class. And the first time I went through there, I thought I wasn't going to be able to stay upright. I was so frightened. And my note said something like, please excuse Sue, she wasn't here. Signed, Sue. And he looked at that and his face got a little red and he scowled and he stamped it and he said, approved. Go on to class. And I did that for 2 years. And the only reason I was able to graduate from high school is because he showed me the kindness. I don't know what he knew, but he gave me a chance to keep up my grades and graduate from high school, and I did. And I say thank you, Colonel Robert Price. And I say thank you for this award, thank you, Scouts, thanks all of you.